I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. I want to give you my take on the event that has captured the imagination of America, even more so than the mass shootings, but 4 mass shootings in California. Some of the other events that are going on with the mass, if you will, finding of documents in the house of Mike Pence, Joe Biden, my time Biden, and Tribulation Trump, and that is the Tyre Nichols event that has just captured the imagination of everyone in America, but more specifically because it's been promoted by the liberal media, by the Democrats, and about a bunch of other race pimps, and I want to get to that, but I want to give you my take, and I'm probably going to say some things that's going to offend some of you. I'm probably going to say some things that's going to bless many of you. But what I'd like to ask you to do is that just listen to me. You know, we're not in the same room, so we don't have to go to fisticuffs to fight one another. And your anger, if you get hot or mad with me, you don't have to just turn me off. You can listen to me and then refute it anyway. If you want to write me a note or post up something in terms of your rejection or objection to the things I'm saying, that will be the thing to do. But we can agree here at this point to disagree as I talk to you about Tyree Nichols, a 29-year-old worker at FedEx there in Memphis, Tennessee, where FedEx has its largest office in Memphis, Tennessee, and he was an employee there that was killed after a brutal beating by 5 black or Hamite police officers. That's a beautiful shot, Mr. Indian. I'll leave that right there for just a second. That's the shot I was making mention of, where Tyree Evans, after being beat by 5 black Hamite police officers, let's call them black, they're not Hamites at this regard, they whooped him within an inch of his life. And this look of bewilderment on his face was, I thought Black Lives Matter. Y'all are black. I'm black. Y'all are police. You're not white. Why y'all doing this to me? And they continued to whip him within an inch of his life. And ultimately, 3 days later, he died from the injuries that he suffered from the hands of those black police officers. But the question that's on his face right there is, I thought Black Lives Matter to black people. You're a black police officer. But I have to tell you, Tyree, black lives don't matter. It's one of the biggest lies that has ever been told. And your death, Tyree, your death is the template for the entire world to finally know that black lives don't matter, even to black people. 5 black police officers and not one. I mean, they had a quorum of police officers. And Tyree, not one of them thought your life meant one damn thing to anybody. Tyree, the biggest lie that has been told in the 21st century is that Black Lives Matter. It's a lie, and you're dead as proof and a template that black lives don't matter. I wanted to be able to express that, and I have some other things to say, Mr. Engineer. You can drop that if you so please. I want to also state I knew that there would not be the kind of outrage in the streets of New York, Los Angeles, Houston, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and the tens of thousands of people marching as a result of the release of the video on Friday night about those 5 animals that call themselves police officers beating the life out of Tyree Nichols. I knew there would not be major protesting as it was for George Floyd or for Michael Brown or for Trayvon Martin or for others because the perpetrators of this heinous event were black themselves. And so black people don't see black people killing each other as serious. They don't consider it as if you will, as heinous. Now, were those 5 police officers white? Well, Lord have mercy. They would have to shut down the Pentagon because they'd be marching on the Pentagon. The United Nations here in New York City would have to shut down and call for national organizations to protect. If those 5 police officers that beat Tyree Nichols within into his life and ultimately he died, if these 5 were white, they'd be marching in the streets now. In fact, Dr. King may be raised from the dead tomorrow. But I knew they were going to, listen, black people were not going to march. Maybe 30 people showed up in New York, 20 showed up in Los Angeles to do a little protest, and all those had something to gain. That is to say, they want to get on television. But I knew black people weren't going to march. For a black man killing a black man, they've never marched against black people killing black people because black lives don't matter. Now, had they been white, I probably couldn't get this broadcast launched today because there'd be so much mayhem in the street. Imagine this. Let me ask you to use your imagination for just a moment. Imagine all 5 of these police officers white, right? Raised up in Tennessee, raised up in the cotton patches, raised up in the hills of Tennessee, raised up as a redneck in Tennessee, raised up as these police are raised up as Southern Baptist rednecks in the hills of Tennessee, in the fields of Tennessee. Imagine if all 5 of those had been white, whooping on Tyree's butt like that. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to him, but I'm trying to make a point. Well, I'll tell you the truth. The Pentagon would not be a safe place to hide. There'd be so many black people in the street, but there wasn't even a whimper. And the media was trying to say last night, well, everybody's taking a break. They're breathing in. They're not more marching and protesting. It's not they're doing. It's just, let me tell you, so can I pull your coat? Can I talk to you? I've been black all my life. Black lives don't matter. It is the filthiest lie. That's the filthiest lie. It is the filthiest hustle. I'm wondering why Al Sharpton let Black Lives Matter get loose like that on the news, and get loose like that on television, get loose like that in the street. A slogan such as Black Lives Matter as opposed to no justice, no peace. Why did Al let a slogan like that get loose? Because it is the biggest lie. What? Black lives don't matter? Ask Tyree Nichols if Black Lives Matter. Why did Sharpton let that get loose? He must be getting a franchise. He must be getting a override, some sort of payment for all this money that's been raised by that lie called Black Lives Matter. Because if Black Lives Matter, Tyree Nichols will be alive today, and a whole lot that died in Chicago this weekend and have been dying in Chicago for the last 15 years on Friday and Saturday night, they'd be alive if Black Lives Matter. If Black Lives Matter, black men would not be sleeping in the streets, running away from taking care of their children. If Black Lives Matter, if that's the biggest, filthiest, stinkingest lie that has been told in the 21st century. Black Lives Matter. Tyree Nichols. You got black on black on black. And they whipping that boy's butt like he stole something from Mother Teresa. They whipping that boy. They whipping him good. Black lives. And they didn't march either. They ain't marching. But had it been white police officers, well, my goodness gracious, they'd have to shut down schools. They would have shut down all the Southern Baptist churches in Tennessee. All over the South would have been shut down on Sunday. Had them been white police officers. But black police officers killing a black man? You know what? I think I'll tell you something. I figure y'all will listen to me. I told you you're going to get angry. Some of y'all going to get blessed. But can I say this to you with no disrespect? All my condolences, my heartfelt condolences from the depths of my heart go out to Tyree Nichols' family, etc. But I have to tell you, and I could be wrong on this, and I will not make this a statement of fact. I could be wrong, but I tell you, I believe that God set this up just to show the world what a lie black people as a community of people, as race pimps, as Democrats, as liberals, as LGBTQ, as Black Lives Matter, as spear chuckers, as buck dancers, as house Negroes are the biggest phonies that ever lived, ever walked planet. I think God set it up. Now, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be. And by the way, listen, I don't say that because I hate black folk. I do declare before Almighty God. Now, you might not believe this. I don't think there's anybody on planet Earth that loves the black man as much as I do. I love him. I do. I want to build a memorial for him. For those that died in the Middle Passage, called the Middle Passage Arch right here in Harlem. I live in Harlem. I have fed thousands. By the way, a little personal privilege here is I got beat the same way by 5 white police officers in Miami Beach back in 1970 something. I don't know what it was. They beat me within an inch of my life. I ended up in the Jackson Memorial Hospital there in Miami. Check the record, James Manning, beaten by the police, broken teeth, broken rib within an inch of my life. So I've been there. I've been beaten by the police. No, I have. But I'm trying to say, I'm not saying these things that I'm saying against, that Black Lives Matter and black people as a group are the phoniest people, the biggest hypocrites you're going to see anywhere on the planet. I don't say that because I hate them. I say it because it's true. I say it because it's true. So listen, this whole matter of, I don't know why Al Sharpton, I'm trying to figure out, why did Sharpton let a phrase like Black Lives Matter take root and start raising more money than No Justice, No Peace, or the nasty ass network, or the whatever it is, what is the Negroes ain't Negroes, what's the NAN? Negroes ain't Negroes, Negroes are Negroes, what is it? Nasty ass Negroes, what is it? Nothing Action Network, what is that? Why did he let that take off when, you know, it's going to get more money than he's getting? So that's first thing. The other thing is that the reason why it's still playing large in Hollywood is because the liberal media, CNN and MSNBC, are on their last legs. Quietly as it's kept, Fox News, being sued by Dominion for $1.6 million, is still the #1 cable news network globally. CNN is losing money, you know, like people losing weight in Biafra over in Ethiopia when they were starving to death, everybody losing weight. CNN is losing money and viewers the same way the Biafra suffering was going back a generation ago. And same thing with MSNBC. They're trying their best. They're now digging up black people who can't put 2 sentences together, don't know what a verb is from an adjective, don't know what a noun is from a subject, and putting them on television, hoping that they'll bring their family members and bring their church to watch MSNBC. Then they got all these black people that are now news anchors and got them nearly everywhere. They got a woman on MSNBC named Simone. The first time I saw that woman coming at me, I ducked. I thought I was being rushed by, you know, good Lord, have mercy. I thought that she was coming out there television going to trample me to death. Called Simone. Anyway, so here, but they're pushing this thing. They're pushing this thing because they figure, well, you know, Fox News is really the champion. Fox News, you say what you want. Say Fox News promotes whatever misinformation. You promote. They got the audience that CNN used to have. CNN don't have no audience no more. The other thing about CNN is that they're very biased and hate-filled and very pro-LGBTQ and very pro, if you will, spitchuckers and, you know, very pro-house Negro. And they don't have any opposing views. They don't let anybody come on that view ain't praising. So here, so I'm giving you a take. All right. The other thing, the race pimps, you know, Al Sharpton, who I call the buzzard, Al the Buzzard Sharpton. Anytime something dead, Al gonna show up. If Al gonna be at that funeral, the buzzard gonna be at that funeral, well, because that boy dead. And then Ben Crump is called the Undertaker. He looked just like, I know Undertaker right here in Harlem, looked just like Ben Crump. And so those two, one Al the Buzzard Sharpton and Ben the Undertaker Crump. And that is exactly what they do. I'm going to be through with y'all. I told you you're going to get upset with me, but maybe some of y'all have not. But I'm just being the quintessential James David Manning. I'm just speaking the truth. I've been black all my life. I live in Harlem. I wake up every morning in Harlem to rap music, cussing, and a whole lot of people shooting dope on the street. I didn't move away from my brother like LeBron James moved out to Beverly Hills, a $34 million house because he's scared to live around black people, or Jay-Z moved out to Bel Air with an $88 million house because don't want to live in Harlem. You know, Don Lemon even moved out of Harlem with his lover because he don't want to live around Harlem. I love my brother. I do. Now, you don't have to accept that. You don't have to accept that, you know. But I want to say to you that what we see here, and I had a modicum of respect for William Jefferson, Bill Clinton, but when they going back a generation ago when the Hutus were killing Tutsis over there in Rwanda, and they called Secretary of State called Bill Clinton in the middle of the night at 3:00 phone call. Bill Clinton, they said over 10,000 have just been killed in the last hour. The Hutus killing Tutsis. It is reported that Bill Clinton rolled over and went back to sleep because the black people killing black people. Unlike what they got now in Ukraine, everybody and their brother is up in the air in the Democrat Party trying to get tanks, trying to get bullets, trying to get money, trying to get protection to the Ukrainians because, well, they white folk. So we got to do something. But over there, no, Ukraine, I mean, Rwanda, black people. The other thing is that the police chief, now I forget what her name is, the Memphis police chief, she's a woman now. I heard she was a very high-ranking official in Atlanta, and she put together this group called the Scorpions, this night crowd that controlled it. We had a group here in New York said they control the night. That's the group that shot Amadou Diallo 41 times. They shot that boy 41 times. Amadou Diallo. His mama said, Amadou, Amadou, Amadou. It was a very sad day going back 20 years ago when they killed Amadou Diallo. He pulled out a wallet, a cell phone, and the police said it was a gun. They opened fire. They all unloaded their weapons. But that was a night crowd, said they controlled the night here in New York City. This police chief, she's the one, I think she should bear some responsibility. I don't think we'll let her get away just because she fired them and now has charged them. I think that she is just as responsible for putting them out there on the street and giving them carte blanche to do whatever the hell they wanted to do out there. This police chief, I gotta forget her name. She does. She my woman down there in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, I think she ought to be fired. I think she ought to be charged with something. I think that, if she gave birth to those wild men and gave them no control, I believe the death of Tyree Nichols, the blood of Tyree Nichols is on this woman's hand. And if y'all let her get away with sweet talking and everything, like she ain't had nothing to do with this, if y'all let her get away with this, again, it's black on black. I'll tell you what, let me put it to you this way. Put it where y'all can get it, because y'all can let it like this. If this woman was white, right? If this woman was white, and everybody knows she put a group together in Atlanta, Atlanta and Fulton County called the Red Dog Group. There's also a night group that went raising pure natural bone hell in the hood. She organized that. So they bring her down here to Memphis, make her police chief. She puts together this group called the Scorpions. But if she was white, Al Sharpton would lose the concholine in his hair. In fact, if this woman was white, Ben Crump would have Al Sharpton's hair, and Al Sharpton would have Ben. They'd be so upset they would change hairdos. I mean, Al Sharpton and Ben Crump would change hairdos to get this woman prosecuted if she was white. But she's black, and black people don't care nothing about black people killing each other. Where you been? You been living on Mars or something? Everybody knows. So I wanted to be able to say that to you. So this does not compare to, but the other thing is I said Saturday at worship, some people heard me, that this doesn't compare to the shooting of Malcolm X either. There's Malcolm, the Malcolm X, by any means necessary, standing there in the Audubon Ballroom, his beautiful little daughter sitting there on the front row, his wife, Betty Shabazz, she's sitting there on the front row, all his family members sitting on the front row, waiting for Malcolm to give a great big speech. In comes 4 or 5 black Muslims, shotguns, automatic weapons, rapid fire, and they blow that boy. I mean, they put so much blood on the Audubon Ballroom, they couldn't find all the pieces of Malcolm. They had to just bury him with what they had because they blew so much it blew away. By the way, that weighed greatly on his daughters. They never recovered. And then Betty Shabazz, her grandson set her fire up in an apartment bar in Yonkers, and all the girls died. But, that was black people killing black people. And you know what? Can I say one more thing to you about black people? Pastor man, he ain't for the black man. Oh, we beating down on the black man. We black people got to stick together, Pastor man. Pastor man, always beating down on the black man. He ain't for the black man. We black people got to stick. Can I say something to you? Can I say something to you? I figure I can talk to you. Did you know after these black Muslims blew Malcolm X to smithereens, not one black church in Harlem would host a funeral? Nah, can't bring him here. Couldn't even get an undertaker to take the body. Black people, talking about Malcolm, now they talk about Malcolm X, they run right in Malcolm X Boulevard. But at the time of his death, the only funeral, the only church, and the family tried to get all kinds of churches because the mosque won't go take him. The family tried to get, we're talking about black on black crime. We're trying to remind you that what happened down there with these black police officers. And Tyree Nichols looked up and said, I thought Black Lives Matter, homie. They would not one church in Harlem, Baptist, Methodist, Pentecostal, Church of God in Christ, not one of them would hold a funeral. Finally, Child's Memorial up on Amsterdam Avenue said, all right, it was a small church, a little box. And they had the funeral there at Child's Memorial because black people didn't care nothing about Malcolm. And this is the truth. Now, they don't want it told. You can't get this kind of truth from from Van Jones, and you can't get this kind of truth from Michael Dyson, and you can't get this kind of truth from Maya Wiley, and you can't get this kind of truth from Eddie Glaude. You can't get this kind of truth we do that. See what I'm saying? And this is a sickness. I mean, it's a sickness. But if that police chief was white down there in Memphis, I'll tell you, Al Sharpton would be bald-headed and Ben Crump would have a concholine process in his hair. That's how much the change would be. But I'm going to wrap all this up because I figure y'all have heard enough of this and you probably got somewhere to go. And if you're not angry with me, you don't know what to do with this and probably scared somebody else going to hear you listening to me and somebody black, and they're going to take away your card, your membership in the black community. Fine, you've been listening to Pastor Man. We're going to take away your membership in the black. You ain't because Pastor Man ain't for the black man. We're going to take away your membership card. They ain't going to let you get on the food stamp line no more. That's right, because you've been listening to Pastor Martin. But I want one thing is that the media has been really trying to sell this and sell. They're not here. They don't give two damns about Tyree Nichols or anybody else. I'm hesitating here now. I want to say this. I want to say to Tyree Nichols' father-in-law, you'll stand up, bro. Tyree Nichols, he worked for FedEx. He's not his real father. But I want to say to him, you'll stand up, bro. Nah, you stand up. You stand there by your wife and you stand by your stepson. I understand y'all had a pretty good relationship. You stand up. I wanna say that to you. You stand up, bro. And I want to say to Sister Nichols, my heart goes out to you. First of all, you gonna get pimped by Al Sharpton and Ben Crump. When they get through with you, you're going to just about have lost your mind. They're going to drag you from television set to television set. They're going to drag you from news story to, they're going to tell you're tired, can't rest, planning a funeral, dealing with people, taking fall. Al Sharpton and Ben Crump going to get every dollar they can get out of putting your face and dragging you before as many people. They're going to wear you out. There ain't going to be nothing left of you but the frabbins. When Al Sharpton and Ben Crump finish, when they finally leave the scene, when they finally depart and go back to the next scene, there ain't going to be much left of you. And there ain't going to be much respect left for you either because they're going to tell you that you got to, all they want to do is make money. All they this is it. People up here in New York, Sister Nichols' mother, Tyree Nichols' mother, they'll tell you up here in New York, Al is about the money. Al is, and so is Ben Crump. But Lord have mercy, I pray for you. What they gonna do to you? Ain't gonna be nothing left of you, and there probably won't be anything left of you. And then finally, I want to say one other thing, and I'm through with this. I'm not gonna let y'all go because I figured y'all got something else to do. You're all upset with me. And that is this. Why is it that the local, if you will, community activists cannot take charge Why can't you say, well, Pastor, these people got national acclaim. They got national audiences. And so, but why is it that the people who are in the street every day fighting for so-called justice for black people, as it were, in Memphis, they're not getting the kind of play that they should get? But I wanted to be able to say that. I think it's important that after Barack Hussein, the long-legged Mac Daddy Obama, we got 5 police officers who weren't even born when Rodney King got the snot beat out of him. Most of these guys weren't even born back in 1991 when Rodney King got the snot beat out of him. But every one of them, I bet you, voted for Obama, and then they beat the living daylights out of their brother. They were all the same age. Tyre Nichols the same age as these. I'm telling you, my friend, you can get mad with me. You can think I ain't for the black man, but you ain't seen no sickness till you see the sickness and the hypocrisy and the irresponsibility of black people towards black people. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen no hustling. You ain't seen no hatred. You ain't seen nothing. I'm telling you, Black Lives Matter has got to be the lie utopia. Because black lives don't matter to black people, never have, but they can. They can. This is just a reality. I'm closing by saying this. I really believe in my heart God got sick and tired of sitting up there in heaven and watching all these freaks, these queers, these black queers, these Eddie Glaudes, these Myra Wileys, these Van Jones, and these Don Lemons, and watching the spear chuckers like LeBron James and the football gridiron spear chuckers, and watching the Gap Goody Queen, and her lover, her man, the Gap Goody Queen. You know, the Gap Goody. This woman has probably caused. At any rate, I think God just got sick to his stomach watching people run around here talking about Black Lives Matter and woke and critical race theory. I swear, you know, before we had civil rights, before we had Dr. King, we could just go back to the period before all this black hustle, all this race pimping, all this super house Negro got started back to the 40s and the 50s, you didn't see this kind of nonsense. Everywhere you look, there's some little black group talking about we black this, we the 1619 Project, we the Woke Project, we the Critical Race Project, we the Black Lives Matter Project, we the this, we the... Everywhere you throw a stone, you're going to run into some black organization pimping black people's ignorance and irresponsibility everywhere you look. And they're still growing. But the beat goes on. There's more people dying now, black people dying now, than they have ever died, even during the period of slavery. As awful as that was, as awful as the hangings and the castrations were, they're nothing compared to what you see going on now. All right, so I've said what I wanted to say. And I'm James Evan Manning, everybody. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Tyree Nichols looked up and said, I thought Black Lives Matter. Y'all are black. I thought that Black Lives Matter. Am I in a dream? Mama! He cried. Mama! 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 Black lives don't matter. Don't you be fooled by Al the Buzzer Sharpton and then the Undertaker Crump and all the martyrs. Mama! Mama! Black lives don't matter!